Hello and welcome to week 1 of Friday Football Fever. As I'm sure you've noticed, we started things a little later than usual in the year 2020, but now that all classifications of Texas high school football are up and running, so are we. And our very first game of the week of this Friday Football Fever season matches up two rivals, Cedar Park and Vandegrift. Both of them ran the table last year. If you don't count the game that they played against each other, they had a combined regular season record of 19-1, even with that game against each other, and they made it to the playoffs with impressive runs. Now, if they were going to make trips back to the postseason this year, well, those trips would start tonight in a rivalry game that they told us about all week long.
The fact that we're out here getting ready to play the game is a huge deal for everybody.
And it's great to start out with the game like that. You better be ready.
It's a healthy rivalry, but you know, it's one that we both want to win really bad.
Now it's a true rivalry game where you go into the game and really anybody can win.
We lost the last two, and this is our comeback here. We have to win it right here. It's all or nothing.
We don't fear no team. We're going to go out there, play our game, but we respect those guys.
I'm excited for a game like that. And in fact, I think our communities need games like that.
We're ready to put up big numbers again like we did last year and break some more records.
Our hearts is on the line and we're going to give it all we have.
It's going to be fantastic whenever we beat them this Friday.
Let's get it moving with our QC Kinetic Game of the Week. The Vipers told me this week one of their strongest position groups on the team is the receiver group. Caleb Sanders proved that right. First points of the night came in the corner of the end zone. Now the score only stayed 7-zip Vandegrift for a second, which is about how long it took Josh Cameron to sprint 44 yards to the end zone. My favorite part of this play was the dive at the end. That guy's good, and so is his teammate Kason Weisenhutter. This is the first time you're seeing this play, but it won't be the last. The juggling tipped interception will definitely earn a spot as one of our Player of the Week nominees. Once Cedar Park took momentum, they didn't give it back. Cade Hall dished out as much punishment as he took on that short TD run. Cedar Park said they wanted payback for the past 2 years when they lost to Vandegrift. They got it. The T-Wolves win 21-7. So now you've seen the highlights, you know the final score, but my friend Emily GIANGRECO had a vantage point to this game that none of us had. She was on the sidelines. I'm going to toss it on over to Emily, who I know just caught up with Timberwolves head coach Carl Absek. Hey, Emily.
Hey Jeff, yeah, it's crazy to think that Vandegrift hasn't lost a regular season game since 2017, but that all changed here tonight at the hands of Cedar Park, and a lot of it had to do with their defense. The Vipers quarterback was taking sack after sack, and not to mention they were held to only 7 points, and they did all of this during a global pandemic. I did have a chance to talk with Coach Carl Absek about his defense's performance and what it was like to play their first game and win it while our country still battles COVID-19.
It was awesome, you know, just to be out here and have the opportunity to play. It was fantastic, great environment, two really good programs battling it out, and we're blessed to come out and on top, and it was a big game for us. So it was fun to come out and play. I mean, I can't tell you enough.
You talk about how difficult this game was for you too. The defense on your side did amazing. Not only sacking the QB, but hold them to only 7 points. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, defense wins championships, and we're blessed to have a good one. You know, they play hard every week. We expect them to play to that standard, and we'll pick it apart tomorrow and still be unhappy with some stuff. But tonight they played exceptionally well and gave us a chance to get rolling on offense, and we did enough offensively to put some points on the board, but we still got a lot more in the tank, and we'll get it fixed, and we'll be better next week.
Now I got to ask you, your first game of the season during a global pandemic, you get the win and you do the whole thing with a boot on. What did you do?
Basketball. We were getting a little exercise with the coaching staff, and I tore my Achilles. So this is my life for a while.
So you going to stick to football?
I am.
Awesome.
I'm too old now.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Coach, you're not too old, but I think it's safe to say we won't see him on the hardwood anytime soon, but we are going to see him back on the gridiron next week when the Timberwolves take on Cedar Ridge. And it's going to be their first road game of the season. So, Jeff, they're going to be tested, but I feel like they're going to go in with plenty of confidence after such a big win tonight.
You know, if you have a coach on the sideline who's willing to coach a game in a boot, Well, you know you got to give max effort on the field. Thanks very much, Emily. We're going to shift gears and we're going to go to the defending state champs now. Of course, I'm talking about Westlake. The Chaps were supposed to open the season against state powerhouse Highland Park, but COVID-19 kept the guys from Dallas from being able to play that game. So Westlake scrambled and they found another opponent, CLEMENS, a school from just outside of San Antonio. And speaking of just outside, well, it's going to be tough to keep this guy, Zane Miners, just outside the end zone this year. Zane, who will play his college ball at Yale, opened the season with a 76-yard touchdown run. So the first points of the season for the Chaps came from their offense. Their next score would come from the D. Some pressure forced a backwards pass from CLEMENS to go out of bounds through the end zone. That's a safety. Westlake led 9-zip then. They didn't look back. They earned win number 1. Final score in this one, 46-7. Let's get right back to the highlights with a couple schools from Leander. Glenn and Leander aren't technically district rivals, but something tells me they still don't like each other very much. We first saw a 40-yard strike from the Grizzlies to go up 7-zip. Then after a short rushing score, Glenn went up top. Way up top, like off the screen. But good news for Jaden Simpson is he went from off the screen to in the end zone. Glenn was up 21-0 then. The Grizzlies win 31-27. To the scoreboard for the first time this season, a few other 6A games. Del Valle wins this one 28-13 over McNeil. And New Braunfels, they get the 4-point win over San Marcos. That was a close one, 35-31 is the final. To 5A, Tivy couldn't hang with Dripping Springs, couldn't even put a point on the board against Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs opened the season with a win, 14-zip. And Cedar Creek, they're trailing Seguin right now, 48-2. Cedar Creek apparently got a safety, but not much else. Guys, the highlights keep on rolling. Earlier we showed you the Grizzlies. Now we're going to the Bears. Bastrop opened its season at home against Rudder. This one started pretty well for the local guys. Conrad Pace grabbed a first quarter interception. That's very nice, but that's also when things went from good to, let's call it, not so good for the local guys. A 44-yard run for Rudder set up a short touchdown. Then a little later in the second quarter, the Rangers were back in the end zone on a 14-yard QB keeper. It's not the start to the season that Bastrop wanted. The Bears fell 49-0. To the BURNET Bulldogs, who opened the season hot but then dropped 2 straight games. They hope to get things back on track against Robinson, a school from just outside of Waco. First quarter, the Bulldogs are on the right side of the field, but that ain't what you want to happen. Robinson's Trey Stout looked stout on this play. He grabbed the interception and took it back 25 yards. That pick led to points for Robinson, but you knew the Bulldogs would not give up. This was a back and forth game. The local guys found a way to win. BURNET takes this one at home. They get back to their winning ways. Final score of the game, 42-21. Back to the scoreboard as the scores keep on rolling in literally in real time. Lockhart is in the fourth quarter right now. We're hoping the Lions can find a way to pull this one out. They are trailing Johnson by a field goal, 25-22. Salado, oh my goodness, that's a big win for them. They beat the Taylor Ducks 49-3. More scores rolling in, and when I say more scores, I mean one more score at the moment. Gerald doesn't get that first one of the season. They lose to Gonzales 61, or they're down to Gonzales. It's the fourth quarter, but they're trailing 61-15. Guys, we have updated you on 12 games so far, and we have much more left to show you. Scores, highlights, our Band of the Week, and our Play of the Week nominees are all coming up next, so you stay right there. evening. Let's show you how they did and roll those highlights. Tonight, 4 weeks after the rest of their district started playing, the Jags finally took the field and they took out some of their pent-up frustration. LBJ hosted Cornerstone, and the private school guys from San Antonio probably hadn't seen speed like Andrew Makuba has. He has D1 offers from everywhere, and he also has a 54-yard touchdown that we just showed on Friday at Football Fever. That gave the Jags a 3-point lead. Cornerstone fought back, kicked a field goal to tie it. And believe it or not, the private school guys from San Antonio came from behind to pull off the upset. Cornerstone gets the win, 17-10. Take a look at this absolutely gorgeous shot of Shelton Stadium. What happened on the field wasn't too bad looking either. They say long runs beget long runs. Okay, maybe they don't say that, but that's what happened for the Mustangs tonight. A 40-yard pickup on the ground set up a physical 30-yard touchdown run. LEHMAN responded with a physical TD of their own. Robert Vasquez right up the middle through the defenders and into the end zone. LEHMAN entered the half up by 6. This one went into overtime. Marble Falls came back and got the win in this one. They win by 1 point, 28-27. If you're ready for more scores, well, you're in luck because we've got them. Columbus beat Smithville, or at least they're up by 31 in the fourth quarter. Score right now is 38-7. Giddings could get another win, but this one is close, 17-14 in the fourth quarter right now. Wimberley, they only have one loss on the season, and it was to a very good Lampasas team. It looks like they're going to pick up another win. They are up 29-0 over Somerset. Devine leads Luling 49-0. Guys, after starting the season with 3 straight games on the road, our friends from Lago Vista finally got to play at home for the first time, and they got to show off a little bit in front of some Viking fans. Let's show you what they did on the field. The Viking fans probably didn't like how this game started. LaGrange had to flip back to Jonathan Rogers, and Jonathan, the wide receiver, laid out a perfect pass for Ryder Imhoff. Standing ovation for those guys and for whoever called that play. Coach, I looked for your name. Couldn't quite find it, but great play call there. The guys from Lago Vista responded with an explosive pass of their own. No tricks here. This play is just called be big, be strong, and be fast. The Vikings offense looked good, but that Leopard O was something else. DJ Taylor was tailor-made to play running back. Speed, power, vision. DJ's got it all, and he has a win. Looks like LaGrange will take this one. They are up now 42-19 late in that one. Out east, the guys from College Station hosted those HUTTO Hippos, my favorite nickname in town, and the Hippos quickly learned the name of one guy, Roderick Brown. He had himself a game. Touchdown run there, gets College Station a 7-0 lead in the first. HUTTO did find some success of their own on the ground. Here's Corin Miller plunging in from a yard out to make it 21-7 College Station. But this night belonged to one man and one man only. Brown breaks free again. He had 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. College Station wins big over HUTTO, 55-14. More scores coming your way. Lexington, first loss of the season. They fall to Franklin. And sadly, this one wasn't that close. 49-14 the final there. Mason, those punchers get win number 1 on the year. 34-7. Guys, I'm excited. I'm seeing this score for the first time as you are. Good job, punchers. Good job. Now, guys, a team I'm keeping a very close eye on are the Georgetown Eagles. Last year, they played pretty well. 8 wins, made it to the second round of the playoff. And this year, they returned their leading passer, their 2 leading rushers, and their 2 leading receivers. I'm watching these guys closely, and I think you should too. Right now, you should watch those highlights. Let's roll them for you. The Eagles are no longer young and good. These guys are now experienced and good. That's a scary combination. Down 10-zip, Darson Herman found Jacob Trussell for the 8-yard score. The Eagles got the ball back, and it looked like they might march down and take a lead. But B.J. Thompson's takeaway was not good news for the guys from Georgetown. Belton took a 17-7 lead, and they held on to it for a while. Georgetown came roaring back. The Eagles are now up 36-27 late in the fourth. My pick for a team to watch this year might be the comeback team of the year as well. From Georgetown High School to Eastview High School, which is about a 4.5-minute drive away. The Patriots traveled up to KILLEEN for their season opener, and let's just say that KILLEEN was traveling down the field. Early and often in this one, Kadrius Marshall. Kadrius, I'm sorry, I messed your name up a little bit. He had 2 touchdown runs to make it 14-zip. Eastview trying to get something going on offense. Tanner Below back to pass. Instead, he was picked off by Jaden Hill. KILLEEN all over Eastview in this one, 42-23. Now, guys, you know Friday nights are my favorite days of the week for many different reasons, and it's not just because of what happens on the field, it's because of what the bands do in the stands and at halftime as well. We like to honor a KVUE Band of the Week each and every week, and our very first one of this Friday football season is Lampasas. Let's take a listen to those Badgers. Welcome back to Friday Football Fever. Now is the time in the show when I get to bring in my good friend Jake Garcia. And Jake, last year we saw Liberty Hill in the season kind of on a hot streak. They won 5 of their last 6, I believe is what it was. You saw them in action tonight. How'd they start 2020?
Well, it looked like objects in motion stay in motion. We'll put it that way, because that applies not only for their success carrying over from last year to this year, but also that rush attack. They're bringing the slot T up to 5A this year after so many years of dominating Class 4. And based on what I saw tonight against the 6A opponent, no doubt in my mind that that slot T offense is going to have no problem playing up in competition this year. The Panthers, they bring back 9 starters on the offensive side of the ball. Problem was, though, early on in this game, they weren't getting that offense in a spot where they weren't playing catch-up. This is the very first play from scrimmage for Ellison, very first play of 2020 for the Eagles, and it goes for 6. Trajan Spiller with the breakaway speed. Ellison jumps out in front early. But Jeff, as I told you, this rush attack for Liberty Hill, it's deadly, and I'm clearly not in midseason form shooting that slot T offense. Trey Seward fools everyone. He gets into the end zone, and it gets Liberty on the board. Liberty Hill goes on to win in week 1, 44-25. Now, district play already starting at the 3A level. Caldwell taking on Yo. A wise poet once said, simplicity, it's the ultimate form of sophistication. I think that was required summer reading for this Yo team. Nothing complicated here, just a simple little bubble screen, and Fabian Bynum turns into Fabian Bayou. First points of 2020 for the Yeomen, and a few drives later, they go right back to it. Same exact play. This time it's preseason All-State receiver Zakorian Spikes. Book it for 6. Yo up on Caldwell right now, 47-27.
Jake, it sounds like our local teams are giving out some free losses to guys outside of our county and everything. I want to give out some free t-shirts to our viewers who are inside our viewing area, because I have plenty of these KVUE Friday Football Fever t-shirts, and I want to give one to you. I'm going to take a few pictures. Emily, will you take a picture of me? I think she got it. I'm going to post that picture on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jeff Jones Sports, and randomly I'll give it to someone who likes and follows me and comments on that picture. I'll reach out to you if you win that t-shirt. Stay right there for our Plays of the Week coming up next. Welcome back to Friday Football Fever. And Jake, as you know, every week this season we're doing something new. We're actually going to present an award that's called our PEC Power Player of the Week.
Yeah, it's our chance to celebrate someone who gets good grades, gives back to the community, and just contributes to the overall fun on Friday nights.
Yeah, good people getting a good award. Let's show you who our first winner is. Tonight we are celebrating Riley Bumpus. She's a student athletic trainer at Rouse High School. Riley has been in the training program all 3 years she's been in high school. She's also in 5 AP classes, a nominee for the National Honor Society. She is a competitive power lifter and still finds time to work a part-time job at Pluckers. Riley, if you're watching right now and you want to send me a 20-piece bone-in hot lemon pepper, I won't be mad at you. Riley told us she plans to study physical therapy in college and loves the foundation that athletic training has created for her future career. She also told us what a typical game day is like for a student trainer.
It starts pretty early. We start in the morning, like packing everything, and then when we get there, we unload, we set up. It takes like an hour to do everything because we have so much stuff. Once the game starts, make sure no one gets hurt, and if they do, then help them, whether it's if they broke a leg, then get the splint bags and splint them up and get them in the ambulance, or if it's just blood, just wrap it before they go back in. I don't know, I guess I've just learned from a young age that I should help others if they need it, and if they do need it, then make sure it gets done. And this kind of also helps teach me that, because if they're hurt, then I can help them because I have the ability and the knowledge to.
So congrats again to Riley. If you know a local high schooler who earns good grades, gives back to the community, and contributes to the fun on Friday nights, let us know about him or her by emailing sports@kvue.com. Someone you know could be our next PEC Power Player of the Week. We'll be right back with our Play of the Week nominees.
Football Fever. Guys, as you know, every week, Jake, Emily, and I see hundreds of awesome plays that take place on football fields. We think about it and we narrow them down to our 3 favorites, or 3 of our favorites, as our Austin Telco Big Save of the Week nominees. Let's show you what made the cut this week. Our first nominee comes from our Game of the Week. Cedar Park defensive back Kason Weisenhunter. The guy with the one-of-a-kind kind of name comes up with a one-of-a-kind kind of play. Kason batted the ball to himself before snagging the interception. Jake, I was watching this game live, and when I saw this, I stood up and said out loud, that is a Big Save of the Week nominee.
I did the same exact thing, except last night. Play number 2 was the leader of the clubhouse coming into the night. This from Westwood's Thursday night game, and it's R.J. Martinez to Julian DeBerry. The foot down for the touchdown, part of a big night for the offense as Westwood takes Southwest to the Woodshed, blowout winners in Week 1.
Well, speaking of winners, the winner in this game was whoever came up with and called this play. LaGrange dialed up a trick play, the flip back to Jonathan Rogers, and Jonathan, who is a wide receiver, laid out a perfect pass for Ryder Imhoff. That was just amazing play calling, amazing execution. Hey, and now we're recognizing it right here on KVUE's Friday Football Fever. Jake, we made it through Week 1.
Week 1 in the books, how many more to go? Like 15?
I hope they never stop. Guys, now that you have seen the 3 nominees, I'm going to create a poll on my Twitter page at